So guys, really interesting video here. A move perhaps that you've never ever seen before when we're looking at some of the world's best ball strikers, some of the best ball strikers of all time. This video is essentially about VIKTOR HOVLAND. What an incredible player, Indo number 3 in the world and one of the world's best, statistically best hitters. And we can see on the left here, we're going to take you through a couple of swings, this unusual looking arm position. Jason Day on the other side of the screen where the forearms are extremely close together. Now we've seen it with Ben Hogan through the golf ball. We've seen it with Lee Trevino. We see how close those arms are together. We've seen it with the likes of Adam Scott. We see how that hand positioning. We're going to talk about this because is this move something really that we're missing in the golf swing? Now, this video, this ball striker, this young man is absolutely remarkable. When you slow the swing down, which I will, we're seeing positions that are very similar to one of the best ball strikers ever. Tiger Woods mentioned that really Lee Trevino being perhaps a player that's had the most consistent flight of the golf ball of all time. Definitely Butch Harmon's mentioned it. We can see there that the hands and the arms moving very, very close together with this unique release. Let's have a look at one of the best ball strikers in the world, and I dare say we'll be looking at, in a short period of time, the best ball striker on the planet. So guys, right, before we have a look at those extraordinary forearm and hand and wrist movement through the ball, let's have a look at Hovland, and what a golf swing. Have a look at the legs. It's like Nicholas. It's just unbelievable positioning here. And look, I just think we're looking at one of the best ball strikers statistically, right, in world golf. That's a fact. But seriously, we've got a couple of positions here that really are, in my opinion, the best in world golf. Let's have a look as we just play this swing through and have a look at the movement through the ball. Have a look at the quality of this position here, if you know what I mean. Have a look at that. Now, for me, that is, I haven't really seen many positions better than that. You know, when you're looking at Hogan and Lee Trevino, which we'll take a peek at in a second with Lee Trevino, because he swings exactly the same here through the golf ball. Let's just move through this swing. Now, I've got 3 inches on the screen. That's 3 inches of movement down, 7.5 centimeters. That's the PGA Tour average. Compliments of Dr. Rob Neal, who's analysed 550 PGA professionals on WorldClassGolf.com. And we've got lots of information there. Let's have a look at how far he moves down. We're just going to go through the major points here. Now, he takes the club underneath the original shaft blade, and some people are suggesting that it's not underneath or it's not inside because the shaft is the same as the toe line. It's just a moment in space, a moment in time. Now, we saw Snead, we saw Nelson, we saw Hogan, we've seen, Arnold Palmer, we've seen a lot of players take it underneath the original shaft plane and be some of the best hitters of all time. Hands in deep behind him as the shaft points down quite steep, a la deep to shallow swing style that's helping so many people on World Class Golf. Look at this club face. We've got the lead wrist bowed. Now, I'm not suggesting that we get out there and bow the lead wrist, but from the tests that we're doing, there are certain positions in the swing, and I'll show you just in a second coming up, where club golfers, with the amateur players, are really hitting the ball better. And it's getting around a club face position like this because they're opening up the club on the way down. And that club face, people, you can put a glass of water on that face there. It's an interesting checkpoint. Extraordinary, really external rotation of that right shoulder joint. And he's creating a triangle that remains in the body. But this is where it gets interesting. From that position there, he's going to squash the hook out of it. Now, normally, tour pros or professional golfers who play junior golf, they've got incredible hand and wrist rotation. They hook it from there, but what he does, and this is where it becomes arguably easier to hit, the more he lowers down, the more that the left shoulder stays up higher than the right, and he turns that right arm into a battering ram, meaning that the right arm is completely bent. And because of the right arm going underneath the left, the club face doesn't release. So it's not rolling at all. You with me? So he's just coming in with this type of action and just beating this thing down the line. A lot of people are suggesting that it's going to ruin people's backs. Look at that face pointing up. And just about every club player is sort of in that position. They can't really rotate the face. So by shutting them down, they're in a better position. But when you have a look at it on the right side of the screen here, see the left hip moving down 7 centimeters around the tour average. You see that lead leg working really underneath him in this direction here. And why I think he's not going to have a bad back even though he moves down that much. Watch this position here. Look at that lead hip now working up. And we're seeing that right hip now down lower. Interesting camera angle, isn't it? We're going to see this knee move right in and close up the gap. And from this position here, there's not a lot of pressure on that back. Like if the knee didn't move or if it wasn't rotated, you'd rip yourself to shreds. But because he's rotated so much, it's not. And you can see that left foot starting to turn, taking even more pressure off the back. It really is an incredible golf swing through the golf ball. And we're seeing that when we look at, just going back to this main position I've been showing people on WorldClassGolf.com, filming your swings with your mobile phones, what we're teaching you to do, having a look at this position here. This is the spot where, regardless of what we're doing, we're seeing this club face come in every single time with top players. We'll just take a peek here through the golf ball when we have a look at Lee Trevino, who many have said, we had it from Tiger Woods, we've heard it from Butch Harmon, the most consistent flighted shots they've ever seen, one of the best ball strikers ever. We're seeing really, really similar positions through the golf ball there. And you're looking at really just, he's obviously feeling the same thing as what Lee Trevino did. So guys, interesting, isn't it, that leave your comments underneath. We were looking at injuring our backs, but what a golf swing. Let's now have a look at this incredible hand and forearm motion of some of the best players in the world and some of the past champions, some of the best that we've ever seen. So guys, for millions of people, there really is an easier way to play golf. Interesting watching that club face of VIKTOR HOVLAND, because so many club faces, millions of them in fact, are just opening up the face, coming down. Even from decent positions, they don't even know they're doing it. So they're, that's not just causing slicing, but flipping it and all sorts of no shaft lean and different, issues. What we're looking at really is this position here on the left of the screen, and this is filmed with a mobile phone, right? So the reason I'm saying that position there is a proven position. If you hit that position, the closer you get to it, the better you'll hit. Now with the mobile phone, look at the clarity of this shaft and the club head. All right, so with good information, you can get in there, set up your phones and work on the right things. Now we're seeing really, as I said, so many people coming down and unfortunately bringing this club face. There's another one into an open position. So what do we do? Right, well, you can have a look here at a bit of a system. Right, where we can strengthen grips and get the left wrist into a certain position, because at the end of the day, what you want to try and do is bring the club head down, very similar to this position here. Now, you might not want to shut the club face that much. Right, you might want to get the club face a little bit more like this. Now, we might go for the conventional style where the club face really in the left arm, match up. It just depends what brings you back down into this position. And this is what we're showing with the level 1 deep to shallow, which is about to open. We've got level 2 and level 3, and sort of showing golfers, as club golfers release it underneath anyway, right? So they get, when I say underneath, the face is like this. And, for an average type of golfer, bringing the club down like this is going to help you come down more from the inside, get that club coming down through the forearm and help you out. Now, what we do through the ball, and this is what we were talking about with these incredible positions of the world's best. Isn't it remarkable? One side of the swing does belong to the other. And this is just something I want you guys to experiment with.
World Class Golf Instruction has over 700 detailed videos for every golfer. Practice programs and evidence-based material is applied in helping you to become your own coach and play your best golf. Join us in the chat room and join the community of World Class Golf Instruction.
All right, you want to get out in the driving range. I'll just show you this one from Adam Scott, because this is a really interesting position. Something for you guys just to try out a little bit, as you're practicing. And see, just get some feedback, right? So you can see when we have a look at the left side of that thumb touching the wrist, you see that the logo is pointing back a little bit. The interesting part is the curve in the wrist. Now, we're still getting 12 degrees of shaft lean and things like that, but we've been seeing this position with so many great champions through the ball. There's Hovland. So what we were doing recently is front-end therapy, getting into this position and swinging back, and see if you pick up a couple of sensations. You might like the move. You might feel it to be I've seen people really love this position and be able to improve more lag because the lead wrist is freeing up and there's more motion. Don't forget, the front of the swing is just as important as the back end, because we're really, it's one continuous motion. And by looking at certain positions like this, we get to learn some things that we normally wouldn't sort of pick up in the swing when we're looking at champions. Guys, WorldClassGolf.com. There's Dr. Rob Neal, a regular guest on the Golf Channel. There's so many videos on that platform. We've got online lesson deals. Once you're a member, there's a chat room, there's different online lesson deals. I'm also on Skillist. Have a look at that. And so guys, check out, don't think everything's on YouTube. It's not. Invest in your golf and get the right information and chip away at your game. And welcome to a fantastic library there on worldclassgolf.com.